Hello. This is the 217th Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2225, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. We're in a bit of a different location than usual, Simon.
Mm-hmm. We are. We're up in space, first of all, in a spaceship.
Yes, in space, in a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever recorded an episode where we were both in space.
Not both of us, no. There was that one where we were having like a long-distance call.
Yeah.
But exactly, not both of us in space at the same time.
True.
And right, we're not here. I mean, we're here to watch a race.
Yes.
In space, a space race.
We're watching the space rally.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
We've teased this, I think, once or twice in the past episode.
Exactly. In the end, you managed to swap something with a colleague to get these tickets.
Yes. And we're here.
We are. Yep.
And it works out nicely. Mm-hmm. We're recording a little earlier than usual.
Yep.
Otherwise we would be recording during the race, but at the moment...
there's a lull between races, so we figured let's record now.
Yeah.
It's the second day, so we already got here yesterday, saw some races yesterday. Now it's day 2.
Yeah, and in total it's 3 days. So the last day is tomorrow, and they're going to start with the second stage later today.
Yeah.
But maybe before we get to the race, maybe we want to tell the listeners where we are in the spaceship exactly.
Of course, yeah, because I guess we must sound very different from normal. Normally we record in my apartment for the most part. But this is a much smaller place that we're recording in. So we're in our cabin. Basically our sleeping cabin, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, or everything cabin.
Exactly. Well, yeah, but like for watching... Exactly, but during the day we can go out to other parts of the ship, depending on what we want to see. But exactly, for sleeping and right now for recording, we didn't want to disturb other passengers, other members of the audience. What's it called? Spectators. Anyways, we're in our tiny sleeping cabin here.
Yeah, and it's a very big spectator ship, so there's a lot of people here. When we got tickets, a whole lot of other people got tickets. I guess everybody...
They pack us in tight.
Yeah.
As many people as they can.
Maybe I guess more people. Some people have expensive tickets.
Sure,
they have bigger
course.
cabins.
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually. At least our complete hallway is. It seems like all these tiny cabins that we were in.
Yeah.
I
like the styling. It's like a beehive, So it's each cabin is hexagonal.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty cool.
And also fits nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, depending on we have to get up a small step to get into our cabin, but the door next to us they have to they have to step down a little bit to get into the cabin. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's a nice thing about this beehive system. The spectatorship is basically composed of all these hive modules, and they can travel independently. So we
can detach from one another.
Exactly. So we're a massive spectatorship, but for other space events, it can be broken up into smaller parts in case they don't have so many people.
That, and also for example, at the start of the race, all the ships that are taking part in the race are all together. So all of us spectators, all of the spectator ships are together still.
Yeah.
And then as the race, once it begins, and the races all spread out. You've got the slower ones, the faster ones, and so on. People, you can choose. Okay, what part of the ship do I want to be in? Because different parts of the ship will keep track of different parts of the race.
There are even some that stay in place, as I heard.
Yeah, just stick around here, and other ones that follow along at the same speed as the racers.
Yeah, and also basically you get connected to other cabins that follow the same, let's say, racers. But in case you say, hey, I want to stick with this one for a bit longer or whatever, then you basically detach, unattach, detach, exactly, and then attach yourself to whoever else is watching.
Yep.
So that's actually pretty cool. For sleeping, recording, the cabin is also nice, I guess.
Working out.
Maybe we describe a little bit what the cabin looks like, besides it being hexagonal.
Sure. So we right now we're sitting on the lower bunk, looking out the window.
Yeah.
Behind us and above us, there's the second bunk, Basically, the lower bunk acts like a sofa, so you can sit on it to watch the race. And then, sure, when you actually want to sleep, one of us has the bottom one, the other one has the top one. What else?
Yes, in front of us there's the massive window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I mentioned, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. And then, but the window it's a view to space itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh right, yeah.
But you can overlay different views of the race.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you're following one ship, you can pull different ships or different views into view.
Exactly. If you you're following a particular part of the race, you can see that in person through the glass. But then the rest of the stuff you can project over the top of that.
But also, just to point a picture for the listeners, our knees are already touching the screen.
Right. How small is this small cabin? Exactly.
While we're sitting on the below bunk, so you can basically just stand between the bunk and the window, or we are sitting on the below bunk and then our knees are touching the window.
Yeah.
And on the left is the little steps leading to the door, and on the right is the little fountain, and that's it.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So it's for recording slightly uncomfortable, maybe.
A little bit more close quarters than we're used to.
Yeah. But for viewing, it's basically everything you can do. That's basically it.
Yeah.
It's like you can sleep or watch. Yeah.
Should we talk about the race itself, the space rally?
That's actually a good point. Less about us, more about them.
Yeah. So it's this, because we haven't even mentioned so far how many ships are taking part in this race, Is it 10? Nope, it's hundreds.
Hundreds of ships.
Hundreds of them. And all single people ships.
Yeah.
So, really small ones. And what's fun, so many different designs, so many different shapes. It's not like unified. It's not like Formula One, for example, where they have to follow a strict set of specifications. Nope, everyone can do whatever they like.
Yeah. And some people have been really preparing for this for years, maybe, or really putting in a lot of effort into everything. And some people just signed up in a whim, just, took whatever spaceship they had laying around and participate.
Exactly. That's why you have looking out here, thinking of the races we've seen so far. So, for example, some ships are literally just cubes or spheres.
Yeah.
With very little, flash to them, very little, They look a bit boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then other ones are like really fancy, like really swoopy and swooshy, and look like it's in a vacuum, so it doesn't actually make a difference to how they travel through space, but they look like they can go faster.
Yeah, there's exactly some look really aerodynamic, or probably are really aerodynamic. Just there's no air.
Yeah.
So there's no advantage of them actually being that. But they look fast, and in the end, the race is awarded both on speed and on originality.
Exactly.
So, if your ship looks cool, that's actually bonus point.
Exactly. It's not. It's part of the competition.
Yeah, and then of course at the end you also get stars when you travel the biggest distance or had the most flat tires.
Exactly. If you collect all the boosts.
Yeah. So yesterday, day one.
Yeah.
I think the most maybe not the most interesting thing, but maybe the most noteworthy thing is the greeting ceremony.
Part of the opening ceremony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Each racer flew their ship past slowly, so everyone could look at it and so on. Get out of the ship and greet the person, the random person, which is a strange title for our listeners, I think.
Yeah, the random person.
It's the actual title. It's capital letters there. The random person.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't make that up because we didn't know the name. No, it's the random person. We actually don't know the person's name.
That's the point.
But so they all parked their ship or docked their ship, greeted the random person, and then flew off on the next ship. So
but to be clear, each pilot is greeting the same random person.
Yes.
And this is a person selected at random to be the official greeter for the space rally. And the reason it's a random person rather than like some celebrity or the mayor of space, there isn't a mayor of space, so some politician or whatever, is that no one could quite agree on who that person should be.
Yeah.
So in the end, pick someone at random. As long as they're cool with it, they get to be the random person.
They had that in the first space rally already. Because they did plan with some sort of celebrity or space major or whatever, and then exactly what you're
that
saying.
person didn't want to come to space.
Yes, exactly. So then just the random person. But I think it's pretty cool, and it's a tradition. It's a space rally. It's something special. So also the greeting ceremony is something special, I guess.
Yeah.
So did you see any particular ships that caught your eye? Did you see the
in a good way or a bad way? Like I say, the ones that were a bit boring. I mean, they caught my eye, but
yeah, I mean, good way, bad way. I mean,
actually, I say boring. There was one that was a pyramid, and maybe you'd imagine that going point first, but this one was like, nah, I'm in space. So it's literally a pyramid, like effectively, I mean, there isn't really a plane, but most of the ships agree to fly in the same plane, like rather than being at all odd angles to each other. Anyways, looks like just a simple yellow pyramid sliding along through space.
Yeah.
But there's some nice detailing, like it had a gold top.
Yeah.
White stone sides.
It really looked like a stone, right?
Yeah.
I remember this one. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The one that
yourself?
Yeah, it's the one that definitely caught my eye was the one that was also yellow, but like bright yellow with pointy things sticking out in all directions. A little electric currents between the points, like they went a little bit
sparking.
Exactly, they went like up and down the points to the other points. I'm not sure if I'm describing it properly.
A bit like a Tesla coil? Is that
a little bit, yeah. Yeah, you're right. A little bit like
that's
that.
What they're called, but basically like lightning arcing between the spikes.
Exactly, and that one that looked pretty insane, to be honest. But I mean, originality, I guess that got a few originality points.
Indeed. I mean, there's quite. I mean, this isn't just one. Many. Well, I'll say many. I counted at least 10, and then I stopped counting. X-wing.
Yes.
X-wing fighters, like based on Star Wars. All different models, older ones that were all battered up, shiny new ones with orange bits, ones, so on and so on. Does look cool. Some of them fly together, like in formation, and then others are like, nah, I'm doing my own thing.
I mean, but this is also kind of like a fan thing,
Yeah,
It's like, who doesn't want to fly an X-wing or a TIE fighter or whatever?
Yeah.
What I thought was, at least the idea was creative, was the flying cup and saucer.
That was cute. Flying saucer, that's the thing.
Yeah, and then exactly, and then putting a cup on it. I think it was mostly the idea, because the way they made it looked like they did it in a weekend. It's like just quick.
So the execution maybe wasn't so great, but the idea.
Yeah, but you could definitely recognize it. So it was at least was good for a tiny laugh. We could also talk about the race, who was first and who was second and so on, but I
think the names wouldn't mean much. I mean, to be fair, didn't mean much to us.
No.
And so it would probably mean even less to our listeners.
I guess you could compare it a little bit to like watching a marathon, It's
exactly.
like, if you're really into it, which we are not, I guess we could know who was up front, but it was just more fun to watch everybody.
And if you're a friend or a family member of the people in the race, of course, then you're more invested. For us, for myself at least, it was more, it's fun to obviously see all the ships, fun to be here, fun for the atmosphere, but exactly, I wasn't rooting for one particular pilot over another.
And what I also thought was nice, they have many different categories, based on the size of the ship, or if you're a robot pilot, and all kinds of, how old you were, if you were an animal, and then like there are so many different categories. I guess somebody will do well in some category or other. I think participating means more than winning, I guess.
Yeah.
So, anything in particular you look forward to today or tomorrow?
So I am looking for. So some of the races are really like novelty races.
Yeah.
Some of them are ostensibly at least more practical. Like it's meant to be more about skill or about engineering. And so I am looking forward to the Star Fury race. Do you know Star Furies?
No.
So those are the spaceships which actually make sense in space. Pyramid's a bit taking the mickey, But no, Star Furies. So they actually look a bit similar to X-Wings, but X-Wings don't really make sense. Yeah, they look a bit like planes that would fly in an atmosphere. Star Furies, you have a central core from which 4 spokes come out, and on the end of each of those are ion engines. And the point is that they can spin on their axis or on their center in all directions. And so the point is they're very maneuverable. Rather than just going in a straight line, they're really good at dodging, weaving in and out of things. And so I'm looking forward to their race through the rings of Saturn, where the whole point isn't just like, the rings of Saturn sounds like, it's not a disc, it's made up of loads of boulders, and big and small rocks. And so that race is weaving in and out of the rings of Saturn. So I'm looking forward to that because that's a little bit, again, I don't really know the people involved, but it's fun to watch the skill there.
Cool. You did really properly read the program flyer.
For that, yeah. I mean, Starview is there, I think for our listeners 200 years ago, they would have been a fictional thing. I don't think anyone had actually built them yet, but they made so much sense. At some point, people were like, let's build those for real.
I see. This sounds great. I don't even remember reading it.
Sure, it was. Yeah.
But I, to be honest, I didn't read the whole flyer.
No.
Lots of things. I have to admit, I got kind of stuck on the side events.
Okay, yeah. Caught your eye.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the fun stuff that we can do.
Sure.
While...
Oh, yeah, like face painting, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of things. I will definitely go to the laser sword show.
Ooh, nice. Later. Yeah.
That's during lunch. So it's during the lunch buffet. They're apparently going to do a laser sword show during the lunch buffet.
Right.
So I'm definitely going to check that out.
Makes sense, yeah. And I mentioned it almost like as if who would do that, but I will do that. The face painting, I'm going to get my face painted like Shakar.
Cool.
Do you remember Shakar? Red eyes, very charismatic.
Yeah.
So I'm going all out with that.
Oh, cool. Laser sword fighting, face painting. And for the race, I heard, so I guess it's also in the flyer, which I didn't...
I mean, our listeners don't have that flyer. So.
Yes. No. I heard it from Miss Hubert. I met her yesterday evening.
Okay, yeah.
She was guiding some alien guests around.
Sure.
And she was talking about the pinball race. Apparently that's new this year. I mean, it's the first time I'm here, so I don't really know. But there, like, the participants have to land on asteroids in an asteroid field. In the shortest amount of time possible. So it's basically like a jump from asteroid to asteroid, but apparently it's a little bit like a pinball machine.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that sounded like fun.
That does sound like fun. I'll be interested to see it as well.
Yeah. So maybe, I mentioned the side events already, so there's a few more planned. And you can also just, like you mentioned before, walk around, see what's going on. But maybe one thing which is cool to point out is the merch.
Indeed, the merchandise sales and the merchandise we've got so far. I got myself a baseball cap, of course. Has the logo right in the middle of it. And I got, I'm going all in on the Shakar Babylon 5 type stuff. Got myself a robot eye.
Ooh.
So remote-controlled robot eye. You can put it somewhere. So basically, I think I'm going to stick it onto one of the spectator ships that I'm not going to be on, and that way when I want I can tune into that eye and have a view from that ship when maybe what's going on where we are isn't so interesting.
Is that what you got in the lobby when we were checking in?
Yeah, it came from a gumball machine. And what's funny is you're getting a robot remote controlled eye, but you don't know what color you're going to get. You know what color the color of the eye is going to be. And I was lucky I did get a blue one.
You know what I got was this clicky button thing, and it was for free. It was sponsored, so I'm...
okay, you didn't need to put a coin in or anything.
No, actually, they were just handing it out. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be doing, and also after 10 times it didn't click anymore. Let me try again.
Try it again. Nah, I'm not hearing any clicking anyway.
No, me either. So this was really, really satisfactory clicking before.
But only 10 times, you say?
Yeah, roughly 10 times.
Sure,
Maybe I was just clicking it too much. I'm not sure.
It doesn't sound like too much. But.
I'm also not sure what it's supposed to be doing or so. Maybe it's really for people watching, kind of like stress reliever.
Yeah. Maybe it was for voting for something and you accidentally used up all your votes. Like it was 10 votes you had and I don't know, you were meant to vote on your favorite spaceship designs or whatever and they accidentally clicked it all at the same time and voted for one with 10 votes.
Yeah, could be. I also have a tendency, if I have anything that clicks, to click it until it stops clicking.
Until it stops.
Yeah, so anyway, it was for free, so I'm not complaining.
No.
I'm going to try this to get my hand on one of these hats It's apparently from one of the racers, which I don't know. But these hats with the long sides,
like going down the sides of your face.
Like over your ears.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
keep your ears warm. I mean, it's not so cold here, but back when we get home, when we get back home for the winter, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it just looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then they come with these kind of like a pilot glasses.
Yep.
That's definitely something I want to get.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's handy. There's a gift shop here as well.
I think if we want to catch a bit of breakfast before the race starts, I think we should start to wrap up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I am a little hungry. Listeners to Test from the Future, please send an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com. Put the number 217 in the subject line. That way we all know that you heard us being in space talking about spaceships, and we all appreciate that. But also, feel free to ask us any questions in your email.
All right. So thanks for listening, and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.